Hi, future licensed teachers. My name is Maria Angeline B. Pereras. Welcome to this LET review session focused on language education research, which is one of the key areas in licensure examination for teachers. So, I provided 10 questionnaires, and each of the question here, you have 5 seconds to guess the answer. Each question also comes with a quick explanation so you can understand not just the correct answer, but why it is correct and why the other choices are not. So let's make every questions here a learning moment, and let's bring you one step closer to that passing score. So let's get started. First question: what is the primary focus of ethnography research in language education? A. Measuring reading fluency. B. Understanding test scores. C. Exploring the cultural practices of language users. Or D. Identifying sentence structure in essay. Yes, that is correct. The answer is letter C, exploring the cultural practices of language user. Why it is correct? Ethnography research is focused on studying people and their culture. In language education, it aims to understand how language is used within cultural and social contexts. It also observes shared practices, values, norms, and communication patterns in real-life settings like classrooms or communities. So why the other choices are wrong? So letter A is wrong because A, measuring reading fluency. This is a quantitative and it focuses on skills, not cultural or social behaviors. Letter B is also wrong because under text scores is also quantitative research. It also deals with assessment result, not how language is used in cultural context. So last is D is also wrong because identifying the sentence structure in essay, this is a linguistic analysis, not ethnography. It look like grammar, not social cultural language use. Second question. In language education research, the research design refer to A. The philosophy behind the study, B. The grammar rules used, or C. The plan for conducting the study including procedure and methods, or D. The final presentation of the result. Yes, that is correct. The correct answer is letter C, the plan for conducting the study including procedure and methods. Why it is correct? Research design refers to blueprint or plans for how the research study will be conducted. It includes the method for data collecting, sampling, tools to be used, and how the research will be carried out in instructed way. It is also part of the operational stage where the conceptual idea like approaches and objectives are put into action. So why the other choices are incorrect? So letter A is wrong because the philosophy behind the study did describe the research approach like the qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method. This is not the design. This is approach conceptual design, practical, or operation. So letter B is also wrong because the grammar rule used, this is irrelevant to the research design. Grammar rules are related to language use, not to how research is constructed or conducted. So letter D is also wrong because the final presentation of the result, this is related to the reporting or conclusion phase, not the design. Design happened before the results are collected and presented. Number 3. Why it is important to define the research objectives during the planning stage? A. To choose the correct grammar book. B. To guide the methodology and purpose of the research. Or C. To limit the length of the study. Or D. To avoid using theoretical frameworks. Yes, that is correct. Letter B is the correct answer. To guide the methodology and purpose of the research. Why it is correct? Research objectives clearly state what the study aims to achieve. They guide the selection of the methodology such as what data to collect, how to analyze it, and what tools to use. Objectives keep the research focused and aligned with its purpose, ensuring that every step contributes to answering the main research question. It also defines them early in the planning stage, ensuring the research is well structured and meaningful. So why the other choices are incorrect? So letter A is incorrect because to choose the correct grammar book, it is irrelevant to the research planning process. Choosing a grammar book is not a tool of language research. It is a reflect teaching, not a research planning. So letter C is also wrong because to limit the length of the study, while objectives may affect the scope, their main purpose is not to shorten or limit the study, but to clarify the research focus. So letter D is also wrong because to avoid using theoretical framework, it is a false. In fact, clearly, it's defined the objectives often require or are based on a theoretical framework. This is choice show misunderstanding of how theory and objectives work together. Number 4. It is the method that deals with the numbers and amount for describing an event that support the hypothesis and predication models. So letter A, quantitative research, or B, qualitative research, or C, mixed method. Yes, that is correct. Letter A is the correct answer, quantitative research. Because quantitative research deals with the number, measurement, and statistical analysis. It is used to test hypotheses to make up predictions and describe the events using the quantifiable data. This type of research answers the question like how much, how many, or what is the relation between the variables. So example of this is test scores, survey results, and with numerical scales or experimental result. So why the other choices are incorrect? So letter B is wrong because qualitative research is focused on non-numerical data like words, it is behavior and its meaning. It's aimed to understand the experience pattern and social context, not measuring them. It does not test predictions or hypotheses using the number. So letter C is also wrong because mixed methods combined with both quantitative and qualitative approaches. While it may involves a number, but it's not purely focused on numerical data or prediction. It includes open-ended interpretation as well. So this question is only describe the quantitative aspect, not both. Number 5. It is used to generate deep understanding of complex issues in real-life matters. It involves wide variety of principle and medicine for examining the patient. So letter A, it is a quantitative research. B, qualitative research. C, case study research. Or D, mixed method. Yes, the correct answer is letter C, case study, because it is used to gain deep, detailed understanding of complex issue in real-life context. It is focused on the single case or a small number of cases such as a person, group, events, or institution. In medicine, it is often used to examine patients in depth using a variety of principles and data sources like observation, interviews, and clinical records. It is therefore exploring complex and context-independent problems that cannot be isolated from their environment. So why the other choices are incorrect? So letter A, quantitative research incorrect because it focused on numerical data statistic and large samples, and it is used to measure and test the hypothesis, not to explore the depth real life issues. It is also too broad and surface level for deep and case specific understanding. So letter B is also wrong because qualitative research, while it does explore the meaning and the context, it is a broad category. In case study kasi, specific type of qualitative research, but the question referred to more focus on real life examination, like studying a patient in medicine, which it fits better with a case study. So mixed method is also wrong because it combines quantitative and qualitative approaches. It is a border and not specifically tied to deep investigation of a single case or the patient. It is not the best match for the description given to the question. Number 6. Which type of analytical research involved assessing multiple studies to summarize findings related to specific research question, often using the meta-analysis? A. Historical research. B. Philosophical research. Or C. Research synthesis. Or D. Reviews. The correct answer is letter C, research synthesis. This involved the summarizing and combine the results of two or more research studies. It focused on answering a specific research question by reviewing and integrating existing evidence. This method is often includes a meta-analysis, which uses statistical techniques to combine the results from multiple qualitative studies. It is also goal is to draw a broader evidence based on conclusion from multiple sources. So why the other choices are incorrect? So letter A is incorrect because historical research it focuses on understanding and interpreting past events through documents, records, or oral accounts. It does not summarize multiple study for a specific research question. It concern more with chronology and context, not comparison or synthesis. So letter B is also wrong because philosophical research deals with the abstract, theoretical question related to knowledge, existing values, or reality. It is a conceptual, not based on combining multiple studies or using meta-analysis. It does not involve data or summarizing research findings. So letter D is also wrong review because it is general evaluation of a study, and while some may include summary, they are not always as systematic and structured as research synthesis. Research synthesis is more formal and analytical process focused on answering specific research question, which is often with quantitative methods. Number 7. Which type of research focus on collecting observable and measurable data through direct or indirect experience? A. Conceptual research. B. Empirical research. D. Fundamental research. Or C. Longitudinal research. Yes, the correct answer is letter B, empirical research, because it is based on actual observation or experimentation. It is involved collecting measurable and observable data through direct like experiments, surveys, or indirect like observation or existing records methods. So it is used to test hypotheses and it validates theories with real-life evidence. So why other choices are incorrect? So letter A is incorrect because conceptual research is focused on developing a new theories or refining existing concepts using logic and reasoning. It does not involve data collecting or indirect observation. So letter C is also fundamental research because it is also called a basic research, which is aimed to increase the general knowledge or theoretical understanding without direct application. It may involve empirical methods, but it does not specifically focus on data collecting like empirical theories. So letter D is also incorrect, longitudinal research, because it focuses on studying the same subject over a long period to observe changes. It can also use empirical data, but the defining feature is duration over time. It is not just data collecting. Eighth question. Which type of longitudinal study follow the same group of individual over time to observe changes in behavior, attitude, or characteristics? A. Retrospective study. B. Cross-sectional study. C. Panel study. Or D. Cohort analysis. Yes, that is correct. Letter C, panel study is the correct answer because it is involving collecting data from the same group of individual at a multiple point in time. And its purpose is to observe changes in behavior, attitudes, or characteristic across time within the same subject. It is true type of longitudinal study because it tracks individual level changes. So, why other choices are incorrect? So, letter A is retrospective study is wrong because this look backward in time, often using existing record or participant recall of past event. It is study past exposure or behavior, not going tracking it over time. It is not ideal for observing present or future changes. So letters B is also wrong, cross-sectional study, because it does not longitudinal study. It collects data at one point in time from different individuals or group. It is show a snapshot but cannot measure change over time. So letter D is also wrong, coherent analysis, because this involves studying a group of people who shares a common characteristic over time. However, unlike the panel study, coherent member can change and data may be collected from different individuals within the same current, not necessarily the exact same people. It is still longitudinal but not as a focus on individual level changes as a panel studies. 9 question. What is the primary goal of language education research? A. To create literature textbook for students. Or B. To investigate how language is taught and learned effectively. Or C. To translate text from one language to another. Or D. To compare the spelling rules of different language. Yes, that is correct. Letter B, to investigate how language is taught and learned effectively is the correct answer. In language education research, it focuses on studying the process, methods, and effectiveness of teaching and learning languages. It is aimed to improve the language instruction, curriculum design, teaching training, assessment, and learners' outcomes. It is also involved theoretical and practical aspect of language teaching and acquisition classroom or real-world settings. So why the other choices are incorrect? So A is wrong because to create literature textbook for student, this task fall under the curriculum development or materials writing, not the main focus of research. Language education research may evaluate materials, but creating textbooks is not its primary goals. So letter C is also incorrect to translate text from one language to another. This is the focus of translation study, not language education research. Research in language education might touch on translation as teaching tools, but translation itself is not the main goal of it. So letter D is also wrong because to compare the spelling rules of different language, this falls under the comparative linguistic or language instruction analysis that not directly under the educational research. Language education research because it uh, focus on more on how students learn spelling, not just comparing the rules. Last question. Number 10. In language education research, what does the term data collecting means? A. Writing the final report. B. Gathering information relevant to the research question. Or C. Creating a hypothesis. Or D. Reviewing literature. Yes, the correct answer is letter B. Gathering information relevant to the research question. Because the collecting data is the process of gathering information or evidence from various sources like tests, survey, interviews, observations to answer the research questions. It is a critical operation stage in any research study because it provides the raw data that is used for analysis, interpretation, and conclusion. So, why the other choices are incorrect? So letter A is wrong, writing the final report, because this part of the reporting stage which comes after data collecting and analysis. It is about presenting of the findings, not collecting them. So letter C is also wrong because creating a hypothesis, this is done during the planning or conceptual stage before any data is gathered. A hypothesis is what the research aims to test through the data collecting. So letter D is also wrong. Review literature. This occurs during the initial planning stage to understand what is really known about the topic. It has helped to frame the research, but it does not part of the data collecting process. So that's all. Good job, future educators! You just completed another round of let review question in language education research, which is a very crucial topic that tests your understanding of how we investigate and improve language teaching and learning. So let's keep practicing, let's keep reviewing, and stay confident in your journey toward becoming a licensure professional teacher. Once again, my name is Maria Angeline B. Pereras. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow let takers. And as always, believe in your purpose, trust the process, and keep going. Your teacher license is within your reach. See you in the next review session. Good luck and keep learning. So, goodbye everyone. Thank you.